Hello everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Spoiler Princess here, and welcome to the first year ditter part 2 video. I am so excited to finally get to this recording. It was so long. It's been a horrible week. My final exams. Oh, my midterms, oh my goodness. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. So today, we're talking about treasure stealing ditter. So we're finally at ditter. Oh my gosh. That whole preparation for the ditter match was so long to do last time. So let's jump right into it. So we're starting off this chapter with Ralblot talking his head off about being super excited to play ditter while they're walking down the corridor all the way to the Knight's building. Rosemine and Professor Hersher are talking about why Ralphin would be so excited to do treasure stealing ditter with them. And we come to the conclusion that it's because she is Ferdinand's student and that he wants to see if Ehrenfest will be a threat this year at the Inter-Duchy tournament. Rosemine realizes that Ralblot was going to be a pain in the butt to deal with if they win this, as he would probably try to challenge Ehrenfest over and over and over again to treasure stealing ditter. Which is why she remarks to Professor Hersher that they should lose the game so that he wouldn't bother them anymore. And Hersher is very mad at Rosemine for trying to get rid of her research and she has to win this. And Rosemine thinks back to all of this time she studied with Ferdinand in his books, and because this is a tactician game, she thinks to how can I beat him in this area. And this whole time while she's thinking that, she finally arrives at the Knight's building, where she notices that the stadium is a huge circular stadium as big as a baseball field, which is pretty big, but not as big as I thought it was gonna be. And it's big enough for high beasts to fly around, and appears to be a magical barrier stopping wind and snow from getting in. The hallway they just walked out of apparently takes them right into the area where the audience would normally be gathered, and she notices that it's kind of weird to watch it from here, as there is a slope and the ground is very low, and she notices 2 circles on the floor of the arena. Ralblot comes along and starts explaining what treasure stealing ditter is. The rules are that team have to foremost hunt a fey beast that would serve as their treasure. Defenders would need to weaken the fey beast for their own safety, but not so much that the fey beast could easily be stolen by the attackers. A team would be considered defeated when its fey beast has died, so it is crucial to master the art of weakening fey beasts just enough so that they were manageable. Each team would take the captured fey beast, serving as a treasure, back to their territory. There, one had to repel attacks and protect their treasure while simultaneously invading enemy territory to either defeat or steal the other fey beast. Afterwards, they decide the team sizes, which is going to be 25 because Ehrenfest has the lowest amount of knights at 25 knights, and Dunkelflugger gets to pick and choose from their bests. Rosemine remarks how this is unfair, but Cornelius explains that this is also how it's done during the Inter-Duchy tournament, and is also the reason why a lot of lower duchies cannot win the Inter-Duchy tournament. He adds that this might make it a disadvantage actually for these higher ranking duchies, as the people who can't play in the Inter-Duchy tournament have harder times finding jobs afterwards, because the Inter-Duchy tournament is one of the main ways that people can show their skills off to potential people who want to work for them. Ralphin decides that we should afterwards divide the stadium in 2, because typically in the Inter-Duchy tournament, if they were playing treasure stealing ditter, they would be placed in front of their duchy. But since there's only 2 teams this time, they're being placed on either end of the court. He also implements a time limit that if Dunkelfelger is not able to kill or steal Ehrenfest's Fey Beast within the allotted time period, Ehrenfest wins. And the contrary, if Ehrenfest is able to kill Dunkelfelger's Fey Beast, they win. So the Fey Beast, the other team will win if the team kills their own Fey Beast by accident, so they have to be careful about that. You could also technically bring back the Fey Beast, Dunkelfelger's Fey Beast, into Ehrenfest territory, but that's so hard to do that no one does it. So from here on out, Ralphin asks if anyone has any questions, and Rosemine raises her hand, asking if they can use Face Stone tools, magic tools, potions, and make Fey Beast barriers for anything. And Ralphin replies that you can, and actually back in the old days of Treasure Stealing Ditter, they would even have sometimes to use rejuvenation potions because the matches were so long, and if someone got hurt, they really needed to keep going. So because of that, Rosemine afterwards starts feeling around for her pouch, and that's when people realize that she's going to play Ditter with them, and not just be a spectator like they thought she would be. So from here, we have the amazing reaction of everyone who's did not think that she would play, and this causes Lancelot to be forced to play because, of course, they have to play against each other. That's the whole point of it. And yeah, so Lancelot is not happy because he wanted to watch the game, not actually play in it, and here he is having to play play Treasure Stealing Ditter against the Gremlin. What can I say, Lancelot? That one was unpredictable because this is the first time you were interacting with her, but you'll learn soon enough that you cannot control the Gremlin. She does not function under normal, noble thought process. Anyway, Ralphin tells everyone to get ready because the game is going to start at the next bell rings, and that they should start strategizing to figure out what they're gonna do. It was decided that Dunkelfelger would use the circle farther away from where they were standing, while Ehrenfest would use the one where they were standing right now. As Dunkelfelger leave Ehrenfest, Rosemine starts to talk about the Ditter plan. And also, Cornelia scolds her for being reckless because, let's all be honest, Rosemine really pushed her luck there. Anyway, Rosemine asks them to go grab a weak Fey Beast that wouldn't die while being bound, and that they would throw that Fey Beast into her panda bus. This surprises a lot of people because this isn't a typical move that anyone would use, and their argument is that Dunkelfelger could easily kill it, but since it's going to be inside of Rosemine's High Beast, they can't really kill it. Cornelius also adds that no one in their right mind would think of using their High Beast to hide the Fey Beast that they were their treasure, as they call it in this game. And Rosemine is just like, well, it was their problem for not thinking about it. Afterwards, they discussed the one way that Dunkelfelger could possibly win this match, and it is by taking Rosemine's High Beast and bringing it back all the way to their sector. Rosemine knows that she won't be in any kind of danger as long as she stays inside of her High Beast, as she mentions that when she got stolen from her High Beast last time was because she popped her head out of the window. And she knows that if she had stayed in her High Beast, she would have been fine. But, hey, what can we say? You learn by going through traumatic events. Judging by what's happening here, afterwards, Rosemine says that more people should be like Ferdinand and having intriguing plots, and basically everyone comes to the conclusion that she is basically like Ferdinand already, and she is the closest to being what she calls evil, by saying, wait, what? I am that evil now? But yeah, no, it's really funny. And basically, they summarize that Rosamund wants to move the treasure as a secure location as possible while they focus on defense. Afterwards, we have a whole conversation where Rosamund tells them that because of speed ditter, they have basically no experience playing defensively, and that guard knights who only know offensive tactics simply will not do. And basically, she looks at Traugott and Angelica, who are basically exactly that. They only focus on attacking, and they don't really defend a lot. So, because in their brain, we also get, like, offense is the best defense, according to them. So, that's what they think. They think that offensive is the best defensive. And judging from prior ditter games that she studied, Dunkelfelger is really good at coordinating teamwork and defeating their enemies with swift, targeted blows. They are likely to prioritize offensive maneuvers here, especially considering that the time limit. We will win if we defend. If our defense lasts. So we are going to desperately go to break through at all cost. So basically, they want to make sure that Dunkelfelger does not break through, and Dunkelfelger knows that the only way they can win is by breaking through. Cornelius agrees with Rosamund's assessment, saying that their attacks will intensify as time decreases, and this is when their defense will weaken, and is the time that we will attack. You only hold up until then. So basically, they want Rosamund to make sure that she doesn't break, and as the time decreases, more likely than not, Dunkelfelger's defenses will lower intensely. While this whole conversation is happening, someone is very unhappy. Traugott has apparently lost his patience and basically says that focusing on defense is not how the game is meant to be played. It is not real ditter. I want to go all out and attack with everything I have. Traugott is defying his lady here and defying the plan, and let's hope he actually doesn't do it in the game, because this could end really bad for him. Well, oh my god, this could end really, really bad for him. Rosamund compromises by saying that she will give Traugott an opportunity to go all out as long as he remains patient, and Angelica asks to be given the same opportunity. She then looks to Cornelius and says that he needs to make sure that both of them are wrangled back if anything happens. And obviously Cornelius is very comprehensive of this decision, even though he looks like he is kind of not really happy with this decision. And Judith is going to ride inside of Rosamund's high beast, as she is a long-distance fighter and is capable of shooting weapons from a long distance, which is integral to Rosamund's plan to letting Traugott and Angelica have a little bit of fun. Rosamund has a really good line where she says, "That is not to say you should simply ready your shields and wait, however. A good offensive does indeed make a good defense, since eliminating foes prevents them from making future attacks. The key is to remain in formation, and not to rush into enemy territories alone. Fight as one." Everyone agrees, and the bell rings, making it the start of the game. As we see the knights fly away, all the way to go and grab their high beast to grab a fey beast, Leonore turns back and looks at Rosamund and asks if they can actually defeat Dunkelfelger. Rosamund says that she intends to win at all cost, and basically Leonore tells her that they've only ever lost to Dunkelfelger in Speed Ditter. They have never won once a Speed Ditter with Dunkelfelger. Rosamund adds that they might have never won against Speed Ditter, but this is treasure stealing ditter. The other team also has never experienced treasure stealing ditter, and that they're pretty much winning on they're playing on an equal playing field, and they have a chance to win. In the worst case scenario, it just be a brutal victory by Dunkelfelger. Rosamund asks if the game will start once they have brought back their Fae beasts, and Judith responds that it actually starts. It's already started because the bell rung and they're playing right now. Rosamund glances and sees that Lancelot and several apprentice knights are hanging around Dunkelfelger's territory but aren't really doing anything. They're basically waiting there for the Fae beasts to be brought back. And she says, if the game has already started, why are they not attacking each other? Rosamund decides that they're going to attack the other team's Fae beast as they come back, and she gets a lot of questions by Leonore and also Judith, who don't understand why they would do this. And basically, Rosamund replies that in Eckhart's note, it specifically says that they had to be very careful during this phase of the game, because sometimes players would attack the Fae beasts while they were coming back. They tell her they should wait until everyone is back and that they have their Fae beast all secured and ready to go. So they decide to wait until the knights come back so that they don't get caught in a pincer attack. As they wait, Leonore and Judith asks what happens if they don't manage to kill it, and Leonore responds nothing at all. They'll simply go back to the previous plan mentioned. As the knights come back, they get teased by Dunkelfelger that their Fae beast is much too small and that could easily die by just a little breeze of mana. And basically they just shove it back into Rosamund's back part of her high beast, as we can see in this beautiful image. They also act shocked at seeing the infamous high beast, as they call it. Rosamund informs everyone that they had a change of plan and that they will have a surprise attack as the Fae beast returns. And Angelica says, "Does that mean we can go all out?" And Rosamund nods, saying,
"Killing the Fae beast is of course a goal, but I want you to fly high into the air before descending on the enemy territory to prevent them from dispersing. Make sure you have a clear path behind you so that you can return at once if a surprise attack fails."
Rosamund reminds Angelica and Traga that they must follow Cornelius' order under any circumstances, and if he says to return to the territory, they should follow right there and then. The two of them gave each other a look, and then we see Dunkelfelder come back with their Fae beast that they have chosen for this battle, which apparently looks like a hippopotamus, which is very funny. As Dunkelfelger is descending with their Schniffel, Rosamund asks her knights to wait and stay there until she tells them now. And as they wait, Rosamund eventually tells them to go, and the surprise attack begins. Immediately, both Cornelius and Angelica start using other knights' high beasts as stepping stones to jump through the air so they can save themselves enough mana by not using their own high beasts. Angelica leaps ahead of Cornelius, and with her long blade Stanluke in hand, she moves to strike down the net, specifically of the Dunkelfelger Fae beast. And the Dunkelfelger knights scream, "Whoa, what? What the?" And they're very confused and panicked about the fact that they got attacked when they typically would never be attacked during this period of the game. Angelica, since she wasn't in high beast, is falling out of the sky and needs backup in order to keep her safe. Angelica makes her own high beast now and is able to fly back up and jump down again, and to strengthening her attack with gravity. While everyone was distracted by Angelica, Cornelius gives his own sneak attack by launching off after her. Rosamund asks Leonor to examine the territory, and she comes back with a report that the enemy is destabilized and several knights guarding the territory are going on their high beasts to provide aid. She asks then for Judith to prepare her bow so that she can shoot at anyone who comes near or when they need to retreat. Leonor is asked to shoot when she feels it's time to retreat, while Judith is made to watch the enemy. The Dunkelwalder Knights are wondering how Ehrenfest is this strong, and Rosamund is taking advantage of this confusion, but one of the knights from Dunkelwalder asks them to not falter and to get into defensive position to protect the treasure. Rosamund notices that Dunkelwalder is very organized. With one person shouting out orders, they were able to reorganize themselves, and some of them were defending, others were attacking, but it was all coordinated and really well planned. They had practiced this over and over and over again. And she specifically says that it was like day and night compared to their teams, just the way that their teams functioned. Leonor looks back at Rosamund and then shoots her arrow, causing a retreat to be called. And Leonor supports them with her arrows. As the retreat has been initiated, Traga decides to forgo retreating and starts going to keep attacking. And Cornelius scolds him and tells him to come back. Traga is frustrated, but Rosamund mentions that she would have liked to do a counterattack, but she mentions that our knights are very weak and that the Knights Order is going to have to do a lot of training for them to be able to integrate into the Knights Order that it is right where it is right now. Traga does not agree, thinks that they should just go back and attack, and he says that Rosamund, how would she even know since she hasn't been in the battle? Rosamund and Traga continue to squabble constantly as Dunkelfelger is getting ready to launch an offensive, and it is mentioned that Dunkelfelger's offensive is very tight, and that Rosamund notices that if Traga decides to basically leave the formation, everything is going to go really bad for them, and she really needs to figure out a plan. So she decides to jump into her high beast, where in turn she then asks Leonor and Judith to follow her, because during this whole time this whole thing has been happening, Rosamund has not been in her high beast. She was outside just looking, and they fly up and Rosamund gives Judith a face stone full of her mana. A little insert here, I forgot to mention that everyone is inside of Rosamund's high beast. So Judith, Leonor, and Rosamund are all inside of her high beast. That is important information for later. So when she pours the mana on top of the yellow face stone and gives it back to Judith, she tells them that this is the second part of her surprise attack, so that when the defensive from Ehrenfest starts to crumble, that Judith needs to shoot the face stone to the Snuffled. Rosamund also tells her that she would need to go onto her high beast and how to get out of her high beast and get out. So she shows how to open the door and how to almost jump out, but isn't really doing it. Judith and Leonor are both confused as to why they're not waiting to do this when they could do it earlier and help the Ehrenfest win. And Rosamund tells them that it is very important for Ehrenfest Knights to realize that they were not going to win this without Rosamund's help. And that this whole thing, in Rosamund's brain, she would have let them lose if it wasn't for Schwartz and Weiss, and the fact that she had to win Schwartz and Weiss. She asks Leonor and Judith to take this opportunity to learn by making them observe the defensive of Ehrenfest compared to the defensive that we just saw from Dunkelfelger. And they immediately notice a lot of mistakes, and they're yelling, saying that to guys like, no, don't send that many people there. There's only one guy. Why are you doing this? And it's very funny to see them be frustrated at their own team for not knowing what teamwork looks like. There was actually only 7 people who were actively working like a team and doing what they should be doing. And it was Cornelius, Rosemine's knight, and Wilfrid's knight, who had been trained by Bonifacius exactly to be able to serve their best purpose after Rosemine's incident in the end of part 3. Leonore notices that the defensive line is flying higher and higher. Rosemine explains that this is what the opponent wanted, and the ace squad from Dunkelfelger will then charge from the ground and up towards them. And basically, a whole conversation ensues where Rosemine says that they had learned this in class, and that they had probably learned this in class since Eckhart's notes told them that this was a topic in classes. And this is where Leonore notices that for the first time ever she has to witness this topic and this specific battle formation. This is where the Dunkelfelger Knights notice the lessee move towards them at the edge of our territory and basically say that they are planning something and to get back to base. Rosemine tells Judith to shoot the stone above the Schnuffle's head so that it could catch it. The face stone flies through the air faster than Dunkelfelger Knights could retreat, and the Dunkelfelger Knights actually noticed that they fired something but didn't know where it was or where it was heading. But the Schnuffle noticed it and actually caught it in its mouth. Judith is very surprised that the Schnuffle ate the face stone. Suddenly the Schnuffle starts to grow and become bigger and double in size. And Judith shrieks wasn't expecting this. And she had actually thought she had failed. And even the Dunkelfelger Knights are surprised at what is happening. And that their Schnuffle has become a giant. A beast that big actually could be dangerous for Lestalot to be around. And so all the knights that were still attacking Ehrenfest are now heading back real fast to protect Lestalot. Rosemine afterwards mentions that this was actually a Ruel fruit that was dyed in her mana, and that Ruel fruits that they figured out turn Fey Beasts into giants, but also have restorative properties. Which is why Ferdinand gave some to Rosemine, since she has so many charms that if she was ever drained because of all the charms she wears on herself, that she could take one of those fruits. But she wasn't expecting the Schnuffle to react this way at how disgusting the high Ferdinand's potions, the high regeneration potions are. And afterwards she discussed with everyone what the next plan of action is and gives Angelica and Cornelius potions to drink, and so that they can go back and attack at full strength, so that then they need to have all of their mana recovered. They end up drinking Ferdinand's nasty rejuvenation potion, and Cornelius screams, "What the heck was that?" and does not understand how this is the improved flavor of the nasty rejuvenation potion. She then asks Cornelius to turn his sword into a staff so that he can fill it up with mana until it basically is sparking, and she wants him to finish the Schnuffle in one blow. Cornelius is not very sure he'll be able to do it, and they're asking also, where the heck did she learn this? How did she know that hitting a Fey Beast from high up and using the altitude to help with the momentum is very effective? And how did she figure that out? So she goes in by saying that she has accompanied the Knight's Order multiple times for religious purposes, and that's how she knows all of this. Angelica is made to protect our territory from the shockwaves of Cornelius's attack, and Traugott wants to go too, but Rosemine says no because he disobeyed her the first time. Rosemine warns them to really pay attention to one another and make sure that they coordinate their attacks perfectly. So, what a really funny moment is that Stan Luke actually instructs Angelica on how to place herself so that the attack is perfect and magically and works perfectly. Cornelius flies up above Dunkelfelger Knights, who are very effectively currently trying to weaken the Schnuffel, and he drops down and yells, "Stand back," to the apprentice Dunkelfelger Knights, so that he doesn't hit them as he's falling onto the Schnuffel. One of the Dunkelfelger Knights calls out to protect Lancelot as they notice that he is going in at full strength. As this is happening, Rosemine also tells all the other knights to prepare their shields and get ready for the blast, while Leonore is in the background praying for Cornelius' success. Angelica was about to go down with her own attack a little too early, but before that could happen, Stan Luca told her to wait, and he instructed her that after Cornelius' impact, she waited a few seconds and then swung down to really cut in half that big wave of energy that was coming towards them. The blast felt like an explosion happened, and multiple Ehrenfest Knight actually ended up flying back and rolling onto the floor, while Rosemine was holding on to dear life for the face beast to stay on the floor. As everything calms down, Angelica says out loud that she has the face stone, and Ralphin congratulates them on their win. So this is the end of the chapter, but let's go into a discussion about what did I think about the chapter and why this chapter was so good. So that was the first year ditter. That was amazing. I hadn't read this chapter for like the last year, and I forgot how good it was and how well written it is, so that we understand all the complexity and how much is on the line here for Ehrenfest, and specifically Rosemine. And we get to see a lot of important characters and the important dynamics of how ditter works and how ranking officers need to be on point, and that everyone needs to be on the same page, that this is a team effort and that not one person is going to shine more than another, and that they need to work together. It was a really good lesson, especially for us, as we later on find the consequences that Traugott's disobedience had on his reputation and on his future life, and how all of that impacted Ehrenfest, and also how the knights are viewed and how the training of the knights, Ehrenfest knights, have come along afterwards, as Bonifacius now trains almost all knights in the Royal Academy and helps with all of them to develop their skills, and the cooperation that has been happening is a lot higher. And also, I'm pretty sure, if I remember this correctly, that Dunkelfelger and Ehrenfest kept playing ditter together afterwards, even though Rosemine wasn't impacted. And this is also where we have, for one scene in there, actually we see very well Clarissa for the first time, and how she was in there in the manga. There's this, we can see Clarissa there standing on the side. So this is where the legend of Rosemine's sainthood also continued, and also how amazing she is at ditter. So this specific chapter had a lot of impact on Rosemine and how her character development would go with Dunkelfelger later on. Well, anyway, I hope you all had an amazing time watching this video, and I had a lot of fun making it. This was a very hard time for me to make this episode. I am probably going to take quite a bit of a long break after this one, as this took a lot of energy for me to make. A total of, believe, over 20 hours of just working and research and rereading that chapter in order to be able to produce this video for you guys. So I hope you all really like it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, I hope you like the coloring too. I had fun. It's not my best, but hey, I really like it as it is. Anyway, bye!